last night, my first shipment of Traditions leather came in. I haven't ordered from them before, so we're going to see how their leather does this week. And figured, why not do my first full-length YouTube video on some fresh leather? So today, I'm going to be cutting out and getting a guitar strap ready to case, along with a Bible cover. Got a couple different thicknesses of leather here from them. And I'm just going to show you what they sent in this first order, and then we'll get started. So this is the leather they sent, and it's some nice, clean white leather. And this is the 8-9 ounce double shoulder they have. Nice back there, pretty consistent looking. And then you've got a real smooth face of the leather. And then this is a 6-7 ounce single shoulder they sent. But stuff I didn't order that they sent, they gave me a bunch of goodies here. They gave me some samples of their leather they sell. So this is all your live oak. It's double shoulders what they sell. And this is just all their thicknesses, all their veg tan leather they have, little samples there. Then they have their, let's see if I can fan that out where you can see all of them. Chrome tan samples, which when I make a pair of chaps, I might do some lining and edges or even fringe out of some of this stuff. I like those colors. They also sent me this handy little ounce to millimeter gauge. And you can just take it, put it right on your edge of leather, get your gauge right, or your ounces right. And I thought that was pretty handy. Sent me a little wooden coin for a discount. That's neat. Nice. But they also sent me this sticker. I have to find a place to put it. But so far, I'm pretty happy with what they sent. But the true test will be in how it works. So, all right. So first thing we're going to do is we are going to get all our pieces to our Bible cover pattern. That's the first one I'm going to cut out. And I've actually already traced them out. I just ran into some problems with the video. And so I have my left pocket to put the sleeve in. And so since the left and right are supposed to be mirror each other, I could just flip it like that. And that would work. But what I did is I just went like that, flipped it over, did that. That way they're both the same. Then I did my spine. And since I'm going to be putting a pattern on the front of this Bible cover, I'm not going to do any fancy spine that's going to be covering up a bunch of my front. I want to do that tooled separately. And then I'm going to get that, and that's cut out, or will be cut out. I've already traced it out. Now my front and back, they're going to be the same size, obviously, right? So I had them traced out, and you could flip this. But when I did this pattern, I made sure it was square. So what I did is I just did that, slid it over, made it look nice. And so I'm using about a little under half of this single shoulder here, so the halfway point, I would call it, about right there. So there's some excess there, so I'm going to try to cut these out as careful as possible, have as little waste as I can. That way I can use the shoulder for other projects. At this moment, plan for this other half here, is I'm going to be making some pancake holsters for pistols. We're going to line them with some nice buckskin material, some suede out, so we can be putting that and have a nice soft place to put our pistols. So we'll see how that goes and have it out in a bit. So I cut out one of my pockets already here, and it's going to be for the page to slip in. So I'm going to show you real quick how I've been doing this, cutting patterns out. And so what I do is I take a new blade, I use a box cutter, and a ruler with a cork back, that way it doesn't slip. And you gotta figure out how much pressure to use, because I found if you press too hard, you end up pressing too hard with your blade as well, and you end up just having cuts going everywhere, pushing your ruler around. So I take my ruler, and I'm just going to go ahead and get nice straight cuts. I don't have to get all the way through on that first time. Now with a nice fresh new blade, it shouldn't take too many to get it through. And so, since I've already cut this one out, I'm not going to really worry about that edge until I get it off my sheet of leather. So I'm just going to come in here, come all the way to my line, And we'll just come in all the way through. So now we should have a pretty much square, other than cleaning up some of these edges here, piece of leather. And we have that. Now I need to cut out the face of my pocket. And if I did my pattern correct, I should be able to just take a straight edge here, or a ruler here, sorry, and cut all the way down. And it should be now square. And then I'm going to come in, and where I have my relief here, my little design cut, I should be able to start here and just make a nice swing cut. Follow my mark. Don't get in a rush, because you can mess up your arcs here. And then just come through from the other side. Just take a couple times. Don't be in any rush, and you'll have that. Now, I don't connect on my first cut, my two cuts, because I end up overcutting almost every time. So I just focus a little bit on making and doing that slow. So now we have our 2 page pockets, and I'll set in there like that. And then I will just time lapse through it, since it's just cutting squares, my spline, my front and back. So we'll get into that. All right, so we have all our pieces cut out, and now the next step would be to get our border and our stitch line marked. That way I can come in with a stitching groove tool and groove that out and get our spine placed correctly and figure out how we're going to run stitches on this. So first, I'm going to dry fit my pocket. So this is the back here. This one's the back, so it'll set like that. This one's the front, so it'll set like that. And then our pockets will go in like that. So you'll put your pages in there, and then our spine will be like so. So what we're going to do, since it's a 2-piece here, we are going to put our stitches through and just continue throughout the page all the way to the spine, which overlaps on top, and I'll skive these edges down. And so let me just get this kind of lined up, rough. And then we will take our stitch groover and groove all of this and just make a square and run up this side, and then we'll do this side and we'll do them separately. And so everything lines up. I've got my 1/2-inch border for my face, my 1/4-inch stitch line that I'll come in with the groover, and then we've went a 1/4 inch off the seam of the binding to the front of this Bible cover. So we'll just copy, do the same thing here, 1/2-inch border, 1/4 inch marking. That way I can run my stitch groover through it, and it'll be like that. And that'll be the back, that'll be the front. And so this is ready now that I've marked my borders to case, and I case it before I put my pattern on it, just because it makes it a little easier to see. And when I mark it with a pencil, I don't have smudge marks from letting my leather set and absorb that lead through it overnight, or even several days, depends on how busy I am. So unless I have something different, I'm just going to time lapse through the guitar strap, because it's going to be a bunch of the same stuff. The only difference is I'm going to be using a strip cutter, and I'm going to be using it to make a 3-inch strip, which is as wide as this one goes. And I'm just going to strip down the side of the leather, and then we will do a bunch of the same stuff and use cutouts I've made. And so what we're going to do is go straight into that, and we'll just time lapse it. Alright, so we have all the leather cut out, all of it bordered, all of it has a stitch line marked. And what we're going to do now is case it, and then I'll do videos as I work the leather, and so we'll keep going.